कर्मचारी बंधुओं, आज इस शुभ अवसर पर आप सबके बीच आकर मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है। सुवर्ण रेखा और करकाई नदियों के संगम पर महान दूरदर्शी उद्यमी जमशेदजी नरसवानजी टाटा द्वारा 20वीं सदी के शुरुआत में बसाया गया यह शहर देश का पहला सुनियोजित औद्योगिक शहर है। 1919 में तत्कालीन वाइसराय चेम्सफोर्ड द्वारा साक्षी का नाम बदलकर जमशेदपुर रखा गया। यह उचित ही है कि भारत सरकार उस घटना के 100 वर्ष पूरा होने पर एक विशेष डाक टिकट जारी कर रही है। I would like to compliment the Government of India, the Postal Telegraph Department, for bringing out a special stamp on this special occasion. I am delighted to release the stamp formally on this occasion of the celebration of 100 years of this model city. The seeds of industrialization in India were sown here. This is the birthplace of industrialization in India. I have no hesitation in saying so. When Jamshedji, along with the geologist Charles Page Perrin, chose this site to set up India's first steel plant, since then industrialization in India has come a long way and industry has been a significant contributor to the nation's GDP. My dear sisters and brothers, it will be apt to recall the legendary role of J.R.D. Tata, who was not only Lion of the Indian industry but also visionary leader who foresaw a rising India. He guided the destiny of the Tata Group for over half a century and led the empire by example. The Tata Group is synonymous with high ethical standards and the pioneering spirit of entrepreneurship. I would like to compliment Tata Group for this very fact that the Tata Group is the group which has maintained ethical standards in business and industry. That is what is required today. All the businessmen, industrialists, and also people in public life, they should all maintain ethics, values, because India is known for values. We are one of the most ancient civilization who believed in the concept and basic philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire universe is one family. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Share and care. This is the care that has been taken care by the Tata Group. That's why it's popular across the country and also across the globe. The great evolutionary leader, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, was the president of Jamshedpur Labour Association from 1928 to 1937. He took over as the president of the Labour Association at the behest of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, when the company was facing unrest. The unrest happened just at the start of the worldwide depression, which was also a very difficult time for the company. Netaji worked towards an immediate settlement that was honorable and harbinger of a long-term relationship between the labor and the management. Mahatma Ji has visited Jamshedpur in 1925 with the twin objective of seeing India's first steel city and resolving some problems that has arisen at that time. He said, I quote, I wish this great Indian firm all the prosperity it deserves, and to this great enterprise every success, and may I hope that the relations between the great house and the laborers who worked under their care will be of the friendliest character. The relationship between the owners and the workers must be always friendly. They must be treated as one family. And this example or the advice given by Mahatma and the examples set by the Tata Group must be a shining example to all the other industries in the country. Unless they come together, you can't make progress. Peace is the prerequisite for progress. If you have tension, you cannot pay attention. That's simple. So, you need to have good relationship, proper understanding, proper care. That is what is required in industrial relationship. Estimates suggest that the policy interventions that are aimed to ignite the spirit of entrepreneurship and enterprise in the country and provide a fillip to industrialization and economic growth, the Make in India program is just one such initiative in this regard, and it suggested that the global population is expected to expand to 9.8 billion by 2050, and the industry requirements would be totally different from what we are seeing today. Automation is expected to play a major role in the coming years, and the workers of the future would have to be highly adaptable. They would probably require to do multiple roles instead of doing a single job in a mechanical fashion. Given such a scenario, the industry, the government, the civil society should join hands to train the future workforce. In this technological driven era, it is important for all business enterprises and manufacturing units to train and retain their employees to face future challenges. My dear youngsters who are over here, and my dear workers and people from the management, must all realize that we are living in an era of LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. If you deal with LPG properly, it can run motors, it can give you cooking gas, it can give you so many things. If you mishandle it, you know what will happen, I need not explain to you. So we need to understand the opportunities that are available because of the LPG, but also understand the challenges that also come along with that. We must prepare ourselves to face the challenges. The policy makers, the politicians, the parliamentarians, the people's representatives at all levels, and also the people who are reading the technology, all must apply their mind and reply to this challenge so that they are able to move smoothly together. We must remember that workforce deployment is directly linked to economic growth, and that's why I urge all industry associations, firms and factories to lay special emphasis on training. That's why I say skilling and schooling must go together. Skilling and schooling must go together. We should revisit our education policy. Education, of course, is not only for degrees, for employment. Education is for enlightenment. Education is for enhancement of knowledge. Education is for empowerment. Keeping that in mind, how do you empower the people? By giving them skilled training, skill upgradation. Fortunately, in this land, this air, this water, this Bharat, you have plenty of skills available among all sectors of the people. What you need is recognize the talent, the skill, and upgrade the skill. That is what is required to be done. This is not only the duty of the government, but also people in the industry. They also universities and colleges, all the public institutions, they must have skill upgradation as a priority training in their campuses. I'm happy that the Tata Steel is doing that and Tata Group also is doing it. I'm aware of the training and services undertaken by the Tata Group in various states. I compliment them for importing students with adequate skills and for preparing them to join the workforce of tomorrow. Over the past few years, as well as in the recent budget, the Government of India has taken several proactive measures to facilitate ease of doing business. The Prime Minister is speaking of red carpet welcome. Earlier it was red tape, now it is red carpet welcome. Earlier, some of us used to treat businessmen with suspicion. And political parties also sometimes they feel shy to talk to the businessmen in the morning, daytime, and do business with them in the evening time. That should not be the norm. The business, the agriculture are like two eyes of human population. We must give all the inputs, all the incentives to the industry, to the business, so that they can add to the wealth of the nation. You need to really improve the growth. If you improve the growth, then you can distribute and take care of the welfare. I used to remember during my student days, and some readers used to always speak in Telugu, my mother tongue, Panchali, Panchali, Panchali. Panchali means distribute, distribute, distribute. I used to get a doubt. Panchali ante danikanda mundu penchali kada. Without increasing production, how do you distribute? This is what some people are trying to do nowadays. That will be ruinous. You need to increase production. You need to encourage forces of growth. You should have a positive attitude. You should be constructive, not obstructive or destructive. This applies not only to industries, this applies to all, including politicians, parliamentarians. You should have a positive mind. We are a free India. We are no longer ruled by foreigners. You are ruled by your own party, which is selected and elected in the state, selected and elected in the center, mandated by the people. It's your own country. If you create unrest, then you will be resting and testing the growth and future of the nation. And it will be rusting also. We must understand that. So unrest is not the answer. And secondly, you must be positive and proactive always. Because all of us are shareholders in the developmental story of this nation. It cannot be achieved by one Prime Minister or Chief Minister, one Finance Minister. It has to be achieved together by all of us. That's why I always say that all the governmental programs, I'm happy that the Prime Minister is giving that thrust. I remember when I was Minister for Urban Development, we launched a Swachh Bharat program. PM called me and told me, Venkaiah ji, ये स्वच्छ भारत को राजनीतिक रूप नहीं देना. मैंने कहा जी. और उन्होंने कहा इसको सरकारी कार्यक्रम के रूप में नहीं करना. मुझे मन में संशय आया, सरकारी कार्यक्रम नहीं, राजनीतिक नहीं, फिर है क्या? तो उन्होंने तुरंत बताया इसको एक जन आंदोलन का रूप देना चाहिए. It should be converted into a people's movement. Then only the momentum will be picked up. And this is what the experience says. The Swachh Bharat has become popular because it has become a people's movement taken up by various people, including your organization. Clean and green India. I am happy to know that even today the Jamshedpur is 1/3 is green and clean comparatively. And we must keep up that momentum. And that cannot be done by the city planners or the Tata Steels, or if it is elected body, mayor and all. You need everybody to involve. And not only that, even the other programs given by the Prime Minister, Fitness India, Yoga, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Beti Badhao, per drop more crop, reduce, reuse, recycle water, plastic, taking care of that. Many of the programs, they should become people's movement. And a country like India, where 65% of the population is below 35 years, 50% of the population is below 25 years, you need youngsters with activity, with physical fitness. If you are physically fit, then mentally you will be alert. That's why the Prime Minister also is talking about Fitness India. I am very happy that Jamshedpur city has provided, and Tata Steels have provided a lot of facilities, opportunities for training the children, providing stadiums and also the other training and also equipment to promote sports. Sports need to be encouraged at all levels by everybody. And in the sports also, yoga is one activity. Yoga, I'm happy as a Minister of Urban Development earlier, as now the Vice President of India, I go around the world and see a number of places everywhere. There is yoga centers. Baba Ramdev, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and then Sadhguru Vasudev. Lot of their institutes have come there. Worldwide receptivity. And here in India also, every one of us must make yoga as part of our life. The worker, the owner, the students and the teacher, and also the politician. Everybody must promote yoga. Yoga should not be seen from political prism. Yoga is for your body, not for Modi. You have to understand this. And also the green. Sometime back I was in Berlin. 1/3 of Berlin is forest. We have to take care of the nature, the trees, the water, the good air, the bright sun. We must take advantage of all. If you take care of nature, nature will take care of you. That's why I suggest to all countrymen, love and live with the nature. Nature, culture together for better future. We have to understand this. If you take care of nature, nature will take care of you. If you neglect the nature, nature will show its fury. It's showing already. Cyclones, hurricane, tsunamis, earthquakes, temperature changes. Now we have climate change. So we have to change and go back to our roots of living together with the nature. This is an important occasion and this is an important principles the Tata Group is following wherever they are working. Over the past few years as well as the recent years, the country is moving towards reforms. Reforms are the need of the hour. Whether it is late P.V. Narasimha Rao, whether it is late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they try to take forward reforms. The present Prime Minister gave a 3-line mantra, Narendra Bhai Modi. He said, reform, perform and transform. Transformation of the nation. Transformation of the people's lives. That is what is required. Not only prosperity, but we must also aim at happiness. Mere prosperity alone will not give you happiness. You need to do something more. Governance, good governance. That is required for happiness. No exploitation that gives you more happiness. No delay to give you happiness. Delivery in time, on time, that will give you happiness. For that we must move, take advantage of the technology and move forward. And everything in the future must be online. Online, so that you need not stand in line. Standing in line, going and meeting the concerned, meeting and greeting, shaking hand, doing something between hands should not happen. That is the way forward. Technology, we must, recently I was there in Estonia. Everything is digital in a small country. Totally digitalized country. India with all its knowledge. We should move in that direction. I'm very happy that optic fiber lines are being laid to all the panchayats across the country. More than 1,50,000 panchayats have been completed. The others also should remain. In this, as I told you, converting all these programs, there has to be public-private partnership. We have public partnership policy now, and we are allowing 100% of foreign direct investment also, because the world is open. Opportunities are there, but challenges also. So we must come out with those solutions for those challenges. We must also do proactive measures, not only to facilitate ease of doing business, but ease of living. They include financial sector restructuring, reduction in corporate taxes, removing alternate tax in the new structure, and scrapping the dividend distribution tax on corporate, among other initiatives taken by the Government of India. I am sure that the new personal tax regime will ensure more money in the hands of people, and this is expected to revive consumer demand. But for that reforms, any reform initially will be met with some resistance. If you reform and perform better, then you will be able to transform better. And GST, you might have seen initially there are some hiccups, but now it's catching up. Revenues are going up, and even the black money also, there will be some problem. Because all these years we are used to number one and number two. Year afterwards, number one, number two, only one. So it's little difficult. When you take reforms, one gentleman came and told me, sir, too many reforms by the Prime Minister, all of them are happening quickly. I said, what is your problem? Sir, little painful. I said, now temporary painful but long-term gainful. Understand this. And one gentleman came and told me, sir, some of them are looking like very extreme chemotherapy type. I said, chemotherapy. What is the problem, sir? Chemotherapy means there will be hair fall. I said, you still have the choice. Whether you have hair fall or you want to see your own fall, you decide whatever you want. So to reform the system, it is very much required to have these reforms to transform the system. So my dear citizens of the country, try to understand of the importance and the long-term gains that are going to come and all. मेरे प्यारे बहनों और भाइयों, हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था का एक बड़ा भाग कृषि, कृषक और संबंधित व्यवसायों से जुड़ा है। आज जरूरी है कि हम कृषि को एक लाभप्रद और स्थायी व्यवसाय बनाने के लिए समन्वित प्रयास करें। सरकार तो अपना दायित्व निभा रही है, अब समय आ गया है कि निजी क्षेत्र भी इस दिशा में अपनी भूमिका का निर्वहन करे। कोल्ड स्टोरेज उपलब्ध कराना, गांव से निकटतम बाजार तक के लिए यातायात का सुविधा उपलब्ध कराना, ये सब सुविधाएं अपने आप CSR के तहत प्रदान कर सकते। आप जानते हैं कि महज सरकारी खर्च से ही हम अभीष्ट विकास दर नहीं प्राप्त कर सकते। उद्योग अर्थव्यवस्था का महत्वपूर्ण इंजन है, उन्हें अपने दुविधा त्याग कर आगे बढ़कर निवेश करना चाहिए तथा अर्थव्यवस्था को गति प्रदान करनी चाहिए। The recent policy interventions of the Reserve Bank of India are also aimed at lowering the cost of funds for banks and providing funds to the industry. Loans to the automobile sector, residential housing and micro, small and medium enterprises have been kept outside the purview of the cash reserve ratio, which at present stands at 4% of the bank's deposit. The Reserve Bank of India has predicted a GDP growth rate of 6% for the financial year 2020 and 21. It is said that the investment outlook in the Indian economy has begun to show signs of improvement and the inflation pressure is likely to ease in the financial year 20 and 21. Three arms of India's growth engine, private investment, private consumption and exports, are expected to pave the way for the long-term economic growth of the country. I am happy to note that an amount of 1.7 lakh crores have been allocated for the creation, transport and infrastructure in the union budget. Besides generating demand in core sectors of the economy, this will go a long way in the creation of jobs, especially in the rural sector. I feel public-private partnership is one of the best models for development in a developing economy like India. In my view, it is the best way forward to develop infrastructure and other projects that give fillip to economic growth. I am sure the PPP models would lead to improved efficiency and faster delivery of services. I am happy that Jamshedpur is a smart city. Smart city requires smart leader. Leader do not mean in height, weight, coat, suit, boot, hat. Leader smart in thinking, smart in action, smart in execution. And people must also be smart to cooperate so that they can operate better. Their operation depends on your cooperation, otherwise there will be separation. We are all same. Expecting the government to do everything, expecting the city management to do everything, expecting the smart city vehicle to do everything is not possible, provided you follow the civic rule. You also contribute your might. That is the need of the hour. The country should really look in. That's why I said we are our own country. We are governing ourselves. And we are a democracy, and we are the largest parliamentary democracy in the world. And we should not only feel proud, we must try to strengthen parliamentary democracy. All issues will be discussed, debated and decided, not disrupted. I have been in the recent past, everywhere I go, I have been impressing people on this important aspect to discuss, debate, decide, do not disrupt. Disruption, obstruction, destruction is not going to help you because it's our own country. That applies to all. I tell my parliamentarians also, please discuss, debate and decide. Do not disrupt. You talk out or walk out, but don't do break out. It will make all out of democracy. You have to understand this. In democracy, one has got right to disagree. Disagree with the Prime Minister, disagree with the Chief Minister, disagree with your Minister, MP, with your management, but discuss and decide. That is the beauty of democracy. You can't have change otherwise. And some people, I am here in Jamshedpur, in this part of the country, some people advocate, no sir, these changes are possible only through revolution. No. These changes are possible through evolution and through devolution. That will be real revolution. Not killing the people, not burning the bridges, not burning the buses, not setting fire to government hospitals and schools is not going to help you, it will pull you back. This is what has happened to the state of Jharkhand also. We must come out of that evil influence of a destructive mind and violence. Violence has no place in democracy. Ballot is more powerful than bullet. It can make and unmake chief ministers and ministers, prime ministers also. We have seen in this beautiful country. That's the way. So I tell my parliamentarians in parliament also, you want to differ with the government, differ. You have got every right. Differ. Let the government propose, let the opposition oppose, let the house dispose. That is the only way forward. In a parliamentary, what else you can do? You must go by the people's verdict. No, you can't say, I will go as per my own. You can't. Nah. You have to follow the mandate of the people. And you have to express your views in a democratic manner and wait for your turn. You cannot be impatient. If you become impatient, then you will become impatient after some time. You have to understand. This is very important for the people of the country. My dear sisters and brothers, it should be remembered that ethical corporate governance is the need of the hour. As we are all seeing, ease of doing business, ease of approvals, opening up and all, have thrown many opportunities but also thrown some challenges. Some black sheep has emerged here and there. And they have misused the system. And they are bringing bad name to the government and to the sector. We, business community, chamber of commerce, industries, all of us should be wary of such elements and isolate them. You have these Nirav Modi episodes, you have Vijay Mallya episodes, you have banking frauds here and there. It may be 1 in 1,000 or 2 in 1,000, but 2 na. So we have to see that such forces are isolated. They are kept outside the system. And then these people, they go and then they complain, they run, they loot, they cheat and run away from the country. And from there complain, no sir, Indian jails are not that much comfortable, otherwise you would have come. What a stupid argument. You does the crime, you run away and complain about the quality of jail and try to get bail outside the jail. There. The industry also has a duty to eschew such forces and also follow ethical governance. That is the need of the hour, particularly in opening up. Otherwise people will try to say, see, you have opened up, what is happening? There are some people who don't want opening up, they want everything to be closed. And they believe in that philosophy. That no more is practicable. We have seen, experienced world over. So keeping that in mind, we should all follow ethical corporate governance. Strong foundation and ethical values should be the basis for exemplary corporate governance. A company's ethics, values and social responsibility plan an important role in building its reputation. Conducting business in an ethical manner builds confidence among customers and investors. Company and community. The company must always take care of the community. So the community extends support. The owner and worker, they must always have that attitude of share and care. Transparency, accountability is the need of the hour in every sector and also in corporate governance. India, with its inherent spiritual strength, rich traditions and strong value system which form the core of many family-run business, can emerge as a role model for other countries in corporate governance. The practices of corporate governance should play a leading role in making India a global leader in their field. Therefore, it is important to adhere to values of honesty, integrity, truthfulness, and adopt the best practices. Corporate ethics should not be violated. Here I would like you to always remember the 7 sins mentioned by Mahatma Gandhi. Wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, and politics without principle. Mahatma visualized such a situation is going to come in future. That's why he said all these 7. So this has to be remembered by one and all in every field. In our quest for industrialization and economic development, we should not overlook the all-important issues of sustainability. The development of a sustainable strategy is increasingly becoming imperative for companies' survival and longevity. The industry must focus on energy efficiency and resource conservation to meet the needs of future generations. The industry must pay attention to safe and skilling, enhancing working conditions, low waste production process, and the use of safe and environmental compatible material. All this becomes all the more important in the wake of climate change, which has become one of the most pressing global challenges of the 21st century. On one side, climate change, other side, growing terror. These are the twin dangers for the world community. We must take care of both. One is by our own conduct, the second one is by discouraging the forces of terror. Terror has no religion. It is not confined to one region. Now world over, earlier we used to be the victims and others used to just express sympathies. But now it is happening, it is catching up. The world community must come together and curb this menace of terror. And unfortunately in India, we, as I told you in the beginning, we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Jana Sukhina Bhavantu. We want to have peaceful coexistence, including with our troubling neighbor. But our neighbor is aiding, abetting, funding, training terrorism. That's the reason for tension here and there. That is the reason for us to take some strong possible actions. There is also debate going on, sir, dissent is essential for democracy. I do agree. Dissent is essential for democracy. But dissent should not lead to disintegration. This has to be. Unity and integrity of the country is vital. Atak se lekar Katak tak, Kanyakumari lekar Kashmir tak. Irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region, India is one nation, one people, one country. We must all do our might for the welfare of the country. You cannot advocate separatism. You cannot promote terror. You cannot take shelter under religion. No religion supports terror, for that matter. So keeping all these things in mind, we should all be proactive. We should all be socially conscious. And we should all be working together and become partners of the development. Developed countries with low adaptive capacities and high dependence on climate variables are highly susceptible to climate-induced calamities. Among other things, we must focus on renewable energy source to cut down on carbon dioxide emissions. Some time back I was in London. The driver who was driving me, he told me, sir, good morning. I said, namaste. He said, sir, today is a sunny day. I said, is it your son's birthday? He said, no sir, today is sunny day. Sun is very bright. I told poor fellow, in India 365 days are sunny days. But we neglected the sun. Now we are moving towards solar. Optimum utilization of the sun. That will take care of your son also in future. If you take care of the sun, you will take care of your son also. The Indian government has been taking several measures to achieve cleaner air. September 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Bhai launched the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure (CDRI), which is secretariat in Delhi. This global partnership is the second such international initiative after the launch of the International Solar Alliance in 2015. The global partnership will help addressing several sustainable development goals, as also the aims of the Sendai Framework and Paris Climate Agreement. Perhaps it would be apt to recall what the Prime Minister Modi ji has suggested, announcing the Global Coalition for Disaster Resilience Infrastructure at the United Nations Climate Action Summit held in New York. Quote, what needed today is comprehensive approach that covers anything including education, values to lifestyle and development philosophies. What we need is a global people's movement to bring about behavioral change. Need, not greed should be our guiding principles. So therefore there is here today at present practical approach and roadmap in order to make our infrastructure resilient in the face of disaster. India is launching a coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. I invite all member states to join this coalition. This is what the Prime Minister said. A recent report by Renewable Energy Consultancy stated that India's solar and wind generation is expected to touch 135 gigawatts by the end of 2024 and up from 77 gigawatts in 2019. To reduce the number of thermal power plants that are old and have high carbon emission levels, the government has proposed that utilities running them would be advised to close them if they fail to meet the new emission norms. I was informed the government wants to encourage states that are formulating and implementing plans for ensuring cleaner air in cities above 1 million. We are all aware that the poor people having low income bear the maximum brunt of this problem caused by the changing climate and global warming. Keeping this hard fact in mind, we must all explore to ensure a development that is both sustainable and resilient to climate change. Time has come to private sector to increase its investment in new and renewable energy. It will not only reduce the cost for considerably but also reduce India's dependence on fossil fuel. With rapid industrialization, we have a problem to grapple with. That is the problem of rapid urbanization. Education, employment, entertainment, economic opportunities, enhanced medical facilities. People are leaving villages and going to towns. We must focus our attention to provide such facilities in the rural areas also. This is what Mahatma Gandhi also said. According to World Bank, the urban dwellers India comprise 34% of India's population in 17. This is expected to go up to 40% 2030. To address this issue, Ministry has come out with smart cities and also with Amrut schemes and also with a lot of other measures. We should all join that. We should focus on smart villages and enable the rural population to secure employment, education opportunities, healthcare facilities at the local level. We need to provide urban facilities in rural areas, as was suggested by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Ensuring a viable, sustainable livelihood for those living in rural areas would become a priority. Indian Inc. must think of contributing to rural prosperity by taking up projects that generate economic activities. My dear brothers and sisters, I would like to compliment the Tata Group for the wonderful social work. Medicare, they are taking care, particularly the problem of cancer. Cancer is spreading like a virus, and the recent studies indicate that the non-communicable diseases are increasing faster. Two reasons. One is our lifestyle. Children are leading sedentary lifestyle. No physical activity at all. Second is the food habits. Don't worry, I am not going to suggest any food code. Whatever food you want to eat, you eat, no problem. Best food is available in Jamshedpur also. I have my own experience. Number of times I came here. But you must eat not the junk food. The children must be advised not to eat the junk food in the name of fast food. People say, sir, instant food. Instant food means constant disease. You have to understand. How can the food be instant? Food has to be cooked. It should be proteinous. So we have to educate our younger generation. मित्रों, अंत में मैं जमशेदपुर के निवासियों को इस शहर के 100 वर्ष पूरे होने की बधाई देता हूं और विश्वास करता हूँ कि यह शहर पर्यावरण सम्मत स्थायी शहरी विकास के मानदंड स्थापित करते होंगे and then move forward also. Initially, the availability of natural resources such as coal and iron ore were seen as giving a natural advantage. But Japan, with none of these natural resources, became a major industrial power and the most efficient producer of steel. It demonstrated that human beings remain central to the competitiveness and the creation of wealth in the industrial age. This has to be understood by all of us. The children must spend half of their time in classroom, half of their time in the field. They must be taken to industry. They must be taken to agriculture fields. The people working in labs, research, they should also go to the field and see the conditions and learn from the people also. People also have sometimes great knowledge. We should interact with them. Our education policy must take lead in this of taking the people to the field, taking the people to industry, and courses must be designed which are tailored to the suited needs of the industry. This is also an important educational policy change that required to be brought in. So the mainstreaming of vocational education and skill development within the school system is the way forward. A boy in a village who is not doing well in the standard curriculum should be able to graduate with dignity from his school with elementary mathematics, language and basic computer skills. For this digital age as compulsory subjects and optional subjects such as horticulture, animal husbandry, plumbing, welding or nursing or driving, there are a lot of many other activities also. With the primary education, you can skill the children in that regard. So, my dear friends,